Moving on to our next issue of discussions. Now, the farmers and herders crisis have raged for long in Nigeria, but the end may be near. President Bola Tinubu has expressed readiness to end the perennial farmers and herders crisis in the country. The president vowed to draw up programs that will end the crisis within 2 to 3 weeks. And he spoke during the inauguration of the mechanized agricultural project in Minna, Niger State. Mujid, from your perspective, when the president gave this assurance, if I would use that language, some would say, are you now saying you want to give land to the herders, or you want to give land to the farmers? What exactly is he proposing?
Yeah, the president was very clear in Minna yesterday. I watched him. He said, yes, we have been cohabiting with the herders, the farmers and herders for quite a long time. The one we refer to as the nomads, the cattle areas. But said it's also painful when you see cattle eating your crops. You have, as a farmer, you have labored 3 months to plant maize, probably 6 months to plant rice, and the cattle area comes and allows his herd to eat them up in a day. So the president is saying that the kind of agric mechanization that is happening in Niger is that because governors are custodians of lands, the federal government does not have land. So the president is saying that in conjunction with governors and the subnationals, of course, headed by governors, they should make land available, tagged grazing lands, where cattle and the herders could be confined into a grazing lot. And he said the federal government is willing to support such ventures. And if we have this, we have a particular farmland dedicated for cattle grazing, we won't be having this kind of issues any longer.
So, but it's a private business, so why should it be given that?
Yes, it's a private business, but you see, this is agriculture. Government must, in one way or the other, subsidize farming. Those who are growing...
Cattle herders, you mean?
Yeah, cattle herders, yeah. Farming generally. Okay. That is livestock farming is also part of farming. Now, those who are growing wheat, it's a private business, but there is a national program on wheat development. Those who are growing rice, there is a national program on rice development. Cassava, and so many other crops, even grains. So, government supports, government funds institutions like IITA, like Nigerian Grain Research Institute, to develop new grains that are seedlings that has hybrid that has shorter gestation period and more yield. Individuals cannot do this. So it's a way of supporting. So if government, as a way of stemming the farmer-herder clashes, decides to support state governments to create grazing land. So if we have grazing lands in most of the states now, and you still find one stubborn cattle rearer, quote unquote, herder, that strays into private farms, then they could be held responsible. We know that this one is going beyond every. I think that's what the president means by saying that yes, this thing could end in 2 or 3 weeks. Just make the lands available. The federal government does not own land. You can see the large expanse of land between Lagos and Ibadan Expressway. If we dedicate some to grains, growing of cereals or grains, and we dedicate some to cattle rearing, and even in the north too, there are so many.
The Kano governor
farmlands.
Created a grazing area, and I remember going there to do a documentary, Dansoshia, a place called Dansoshia, and the herders were all localized in that place. You see what herdsmen especially the criminals amongst them, what they don't realize is that they can cohabit with farmers in a manner that is beneficial to everybody.
To both of them.
The farmers will grow their crops, and then crop residue they can use to feed their cattle.
Yeah, cattle, yeah.
They, on their part, their cattle will generate manure.
Yeah.
Will generate manure for these farmers to use in their farms. I still believe that, look, we shouldn't even, except where it's absolutely necessary, the chemical manure or fertilizer is not as good as the
organic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why in some countries, some of the crops that we are prepared to export, they don't want to take them because they are not convinced that some of them are not carcinogenous and all that in terms of the way we produce them. So farmers and herdsmen, they can work together. You rub my, how do they say it?
Rub my back.
Scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yes. Your cattle will generate manure, which I will use on my crop field. My crop residue, your cattle can eat them because what do they don't really need them. Instead of setting those things ablaze, you give the cattle, they will feed on it. We have not explored this kind of symbiotic relationship, in our desire to find peace. We have to get those who believe that it is grazing in the old form or nothing. We have to get them to realize that the world has moved beyond that point. That's why our country is not even among the big producers of milk, neither are we among the big producers of meat. Because we are not embracing the
other options available.
Yes, which the modern method, we are not embracing it. Look at cattle bred in an enclosed area. Even the women who sell milk, they will generate milk from that point. The cattle that that roams from Maiduguri to Lagos cannot give you the kind of milk that the one that is
stationed in a
location will give you. They can't produce enough milk by the way that we make them suffer and all that. You know what? These things, government has to sit down. The state governors, they have to dedicate money to developing grazing areas. I saw the former governor of Zamfara do it. In fact, everything that those cattle breeders needed, including Mami market for them, sports arenas, he created. Yes. And houses, you see houses, including schools for their children. It's the same thing that Ganduje did in Dansoshia. I asked them, they said, no, we don't feel like leaving this place. Because they are not even comfortable. You know how our friends in the north, how they don't joke with the sanctity of their wives. We don't even want our wives to go out and be, selling milk. In the process, they could be attracted by sexually greedy men. But within this place,
they're able to monitor.
They're able to, and people will come in and buy milk right there because the market is there. They too don't need to stray for too long like the cattle. They will stay in that same place, produce the milk, and sell. And there's water.
Right, but you mentioned something earlier about people not able to accept or adopt or let's say...
That's the problem we have.
So how can we break that?
It will take a while to get them to realize that there are alternative means of breeding cattle. When you go to Mambila, their cattle are the biggest in Nigeria. And it's not as if they move all the way. No, it's that area.
Right.
It's a beautiful area, Mambila, probably the most beautiful part of our country. You see the lush green, the vegetation, everything. you feel that you are in a different country.
Really?
Yes. And nice. You see, their cattle very big. Some of these big Nigerians, they have heads of cattle in that. Yes, the likes of Obasanjo, they have heads of cattle in that area. Because they know cattle from that area, they are usually very big. You know, I've been there a number of times.
I hope you got yourself a few of them.
No, I'm still waiting. There was someone I spoke with who will help me to get a piece of land there.
That's nice. Maybe I'll also get a portion too from you.
No, you will only be reporting what you are doing.